Hello,
I can
everybody,
do.
and welcome to the Learn Dota 2 League Season 20, Week 6. I had to hit the record button instantly so we could have that comment from Whimsical Dragon on the air because I endorse that comment. Today, we're taking a look at the Knights Who Say GG, that's the Hero In team, taking on Dungeons and Dagons, that's the Ransoms team. With me here is Tiki.
Howdy, howdy.
And also with me here is Warcarp. If you're lucky, you might hear him speak a couple of times before the end of the game.
Wait, is my mic working?
Kind of. You sound terrible, though. You sound like you're talking in your phone.
Bad.
Or like a webcam mic. So, we might hear from Carp later. But yeah, we were talking about all kinds of nonsense, but I just had to start going, so Burger King gotta be one of the worst fast food places could be on the screen when we started. I also wanted to get that Whimsical Dragon was making spaghetti earlier, but didn't get that in time. But hey, Hero In, Ransoms.
Dire team back.
Interesting situation. I think this is the first time we've gotten the full lineup of the new Dungeons and Dragons team. I think when we've had this lineup with the Luth version of it, who has replaced Rauk. I think the last time we had the Luth version of this team, there were stand-ins. This is their first time as 5 in the LD2O.
Radiant team back.
I don't know if anybody noticed this, by the way. I hope somebody did, because it was funny, but after Rauk left, I actually went back, and I actually changed all of the old videos to say Rauk, or to say Ransoms in the name instead of Rauk.
5 seconds remaining.
You know how it goes.
Radiant team back.
Basil first banned. Interesting spread of bans here. Banning out the
10
Hoodwink for
seconds
Leaf, they're
remaining.
banning out the Necro for Average Peen, they're banning out the Centaur
5
for
seconds
Ransoms.
remaining.
They're really spreading the fire here,
Team
whereas
back.
Ransoms is just kind of dropping the whole hammer on Whimsical Dragon, it feels like.
10
Doughboy in
seconds
chat,
remaining.
shout outs to
Dire team
Doughboy.
pick.
Good news, Doughboy, nobody requested your game this week, so I'm not doing that one. Undying first pick. It's just like a few seasons ago again. Oh, I didn't start the screen share. Whoops.
10 seconds remaining.
That way, Carp and I aren't just like 2
5
seconds behind everything.
Remaining.
That would be awesome, though. You know, I watch Pick Phase from OBS. It's a lot better now because I use a new version of OBS now, and I used to have to look at like the little tiny screen. Yammer about some irrelevant historical thing. War of 1812. You know what? I'll talk about it during the downtime of the stream. There's a lot. The downtime of the draft. A lot to say about it, but
Dire team back.
gonna pick up the Skyrath Mage
Dire
here.
team back.
So
Radiant team
the War of
back.
1812 is a bit of an odd one, in the way that it's really kind of part of a larger conflict. Can't wait for the flame incoming. Me neither. Part of a larger conflict. Really, the War of 1812 is part of the Napoleonic Wars. It's, a much later part of it.
10
But
seconds
really,
remaining.
it's part of the Napoleonic Wars, right? The 1812
5
Overture
seconds remaining.
is about the same year for a very good reason, right? That's pretty much the climactic part of the whole thing. And in a way, it's kind of the US in a very small role, kind of taking part with the Napoleonic forces, which is something you don't hear about a lot, a very interesting wrinkle in our foreign policy history. But it's a very interesting conflict in a lot of
Radiant
ways.
team pick.
Oh no. Add as ransom summons. Nice. Well, you can always resub.
Dire team pick.
Legion Commander.
Picking up the LC here. Still banning out, looks like a little bit more Leaf Heroes. They're getting rid of that AA. They didn't like that combo, seeing that combo last week. Knocking out some of
Dire
the,
team pick.
Heroine and, Chef Doggo heroes. Picking up a very early Gyrocopter here on the Ransoms team. This is pretty crazy. I guess hypothetically, this is
10
for
seconds remaining.
Gotta be
This is-
support gyro, right?
yeah, for flex at the
5
very
seconds
least. But
remaining.
I don't know. It's kind of a
Radiant
bad
team
flex. I
pick.
feel like you are like smoking it if you think this is a good core core gyrocopter game, right? Like Skyrath LC combo picking gyrocopter into that, he's gonna die to that the whole game. You know what I mean? They do have a save for that. Actually, 2 saves with the Undying
Radiant
Shard and the
team
VS
pick.
swap, but
Still feels bad.
yeah, it's rough. The saves aren't foolproof. The Undying one comes out later. The VS one, doesn't actually end the duel. Got another thing to throw on the duel in the form of the Jakiro.
10 seconds
But,
remaining.
The War of 1812 is a very quantifying
seconds
war for the
remaining.
United States, which is a very odd thing to say. But, when it happens, for example, right? The U.S.'s western and northern borders are pretty undefined. At the exact moment the War of 1812 starts, there's a rebellion going on. I'm not even going to try and say the guy's name. It's Tecumseh, I believe. That's the best I'm gonna get. Let's just say the Great Indian Rebellion is what they called it at the time. But the Great Native American Rebellion is what we're going to call it. In the Midwest, right? In Michigan, Indiana, like southeastern Wisconsin, that whole area, the Great Lakes area, basically. You're having a very large Native American uprising that is happening basically because the then territories in the Midwest are so shaky, so ill-defined, that
Dire team
even though the U.S. legally owns the area from the Louisiana Purchase, it's really not recognized by anyone to be the case. Wraith King here, another pretty good pick. Gyrocopter is kind of deceptively a short fighter for the most part, until he gets a Satanic. Yaps a lot. I get somebody literally got a point reward card. Also, you're in the call, you could say that out loud, but yeah, I have channel points reward now, and Doughboy
10
actually
seconds
literally put it in. But
5 seconds
very
remaining.
undefined northwestern border, very undefined southwestern border. I mean, the Louisiana Purchase is very, in a modern perspective, modern sense, very simple, do it and done purchase, right?
Dire team
But
back.
historically, in actuality, it was pretty undefined if like the French were even legally allowed to do that.
Dire
Technically,
team pick.
it was because the British held claim to the area the entire time the French ran it, and they didn't really. I mean, neither side really touched down there, which is why there's legal controversy anyway, right? That whole Louisiana territory, basically everything west of where Carp lives,
10
is
seconds
just
remaining.
Native America, basically, right? You have the occasional frontier
5
town.
seconds
You have
remaining.
literally the cities of New Orleans and Baton Rouge, and that's like it in Louisiana. You have a few forts that are sporadically manned, mostly abandoned French forts in like Missouri, Michigan, so forth. But for the most part, in 1812, that area is, from the United States' perspective, legally theirs, but practically no man's land. And a big part of the War of 1812 is making that sort of settled fact, settled reality, right? Making that area. But the Medusa pick, I like all the big, hitting everybody picks. It'd be really funny if the LC duels Medusa just kills everyone else in the duel. The DK, okay. I like most things about this, except for that support gyrocopter pick, which makes me throw up. But the move west of the U.S. military in the
10
War of
seconds
1812 was
remaining.
probably the biggest part of it. The
5
victories
seconds
by,
remaining.
in particular, future presidents on all fronts, Bill Henry Harrison and Zachary Taylor on the northern front, and basically against combined forces from the British Empire and from the Native American uprising,
Choose your hero.
kind of blew things open for them, right? It kind of blew that area open, opened it to greater U.S. settlement. made those areas kind of incontestable. There are still a few portions, like, can your co-caster yap about it too? No, that's just a me thing. I don't know how much Tiki knows or cares about the War of 1812, frankly. But, like the northern border of North Dakota, for example, that stretched into northern border of Minnesota, pretty undefined. The Maine and New Brunswick border still pretty undefined, but like much smaller parcels of land there, right? You know, smaller parcels of land that are so abandoned, even like the Native Americans don't really live in those two places, right? Like that's very sparse land. In the South, you had the Battle of New Orleans, which, you know, people are not very big fans of Andrew Jackson in the year 2025, but to be frank, that was like a major victory for the U.S. The Battle of New Orleans. There's a reason they wrote a song about it. I think probably our first great victory. We had victories in the Revolutionary War, but like every time we won, it was a situation where the revolutionaries were already at an advantage, where we outnumbered the British troops, where we outmaneuvered the British troops, where we, so far our predictions and team serve about it on these commentary, 5 out of 5. Awesome. Outmaneuvered the British troops, or we're facing British troops with mercenaries that were heavily outnumbered. But on the other side of the coin, you know, New Orleans was really Rat Dota, but IRL, pretty much, yeah. But New Orleans was pretty much the first time we really were at a disadvantage. We were making a big defensive stand from a swamp, right? Which, not a lot of people know this, but that, like, sucks. It's hard to dig into a swamp, right? It's one of the few places where attacking forces generally have the advantage because you have the upside of being able to ambush, which you do either way, right? You do, you know, whether or not the defenders are able to dig in, except instead of being able to, you know, even before they started trench warfare in World War I, right? You know, they were putting up, you know, mud works. They were putting up little forts. They were putting up artillery barricades. They were putting up spikes to repel the cavalry, which in fairness, he couldn't do in that battle anyway. The cavalry is not horses do not do well in swamp. But you could entrench. You could entrench yourself there. In particular, very important for the artillery. Being able to have good protected artillery positions is the biggest upside defense had in that era. Americans did not have that. They had to cobble together these like mini forts that were just made of the muck itself and hold out there. They were outnumbered, outsupplied, outgunned, and they actually were able to win an upset. Jackson's decision to try and make something of the muck was, to say the least, it would have been controversial at the time. It would have not been the establishment thing to do at the time. And it gave them really our first big upset victory. If it was not for that, we probably would have lost the state of Louisiana for at least a while. Probably would have been part of British West Florida, which they also occupied. Can you claim, so I stopped talking about it? No. But I'm almost done. This makes me feel any better. We also had the whole burning down the White House thing. It was a very small part of it, all things considered.
Is this a dead gyro?
Pretty much had a campaign to come in to secure Washington, D.C., which they occupied for a couple of weeks under the British regulars. Occupied it for a couple of weeks. They burned down the White House. Everybody cried, but a couple of weeks later, they were back out of control of it. It was a funny back and forth portion of the war. Can you claim it to talk about a different thing? That would be awesome, but probably not. If you do another one, I'm probably going to refund it. I'm probably not going to do 2 in a row, because we want to hear about this game, right? Interesting things are starting to happen. Which is why I was doing this, because nothing was really, like, happening to talk about yet. Stuff I can cover during lane, during the downsides, that's it. But either way, yeah. Campaign into Canada, which kind of failed to backfire. Campaign into the U.S. They get to burn down the White House, but got nothing done for it. So,
what, all in all, U.S. 2-0 England, right?
It's considered a considered status quo. It's considered a tie, but I would say it vaguely. I would say stalemate favoring U.S. is what I would say. Define the western border and effectively turn the situation from the UK is trying to sneak back in by taking what is now the center of the US into the US is now the only thing they're looking at is Mexico, basically. Like, that's the only thing between them and the Pacific Coast now. Anyway, it's time for everyone's favorite part of the castle roll call. On the I almost said on the Ransoms team, it's not even true. On the Knights who say GG. Pause 1, on the Wraith King, you've got Lai on the Wraith King. Pause 2, you've got Doggo on the Death Prophet, standing in for Blue Jay. Pause 3, you've got the man himself, Heroin on the LC. Pause 4, you've got Whimsical Dragon, who's in chat right now, as the Skywrath, or at least was in chat, probably left, on the Skywrath Mage. And pause 5, you've got Peaches standing in for, well, Leap getting a little messed up here. Hater standing in on the Jakiro.
God, this Skywrath here is so annoying to play into during lane stage.
That's true. Screw this guy. What kind of asshole would pick this? Anyway, he's definitely gonna leave now. Anyway,
He's still here.
yeah, I know. I saw that, but not for long. After he hears that. On the other side of the
And he
coin, on Dungeons and Dragons, pause 1, you've got Medusa being played by Luth. Pause 2, you've got Average Peen on the Dragon Knight. Pause 3, you've got Ransoms on the Undying. Pause 4, you've got Leaf on the Gyrocopter. And pause 5, you've got Golden Dragon on the VS. Would like to see this guy running this a little bit more if they have the opportunity. You know, to be blunt, I don't necessarily think that Golden Dragon is exactly the goated support player, right? He's still not really a main support player.
Why are you lying?
Sorry. He's still not a main support player, but hero like this.
What is win rate on Venge? I looked at it today. I asked him to play, he said no. But
Yeah,
he's darn good right now.
he's a damn dragon. Like,
True.
dragons are OP.
That's true. It sounds like Carp is literally calling into the studio. But
It's funny you say that because I put it on telephone settings.
nice. It sounds
Telephone
exactly
quality.
right that. But it's a
Are you telling me
very
this,
quick hero. It's very quick to pick up hero. It's a very good one. You can grief your team with the swamp, and he definitely has to watch out for that. We've definitely seen this guy. Sorry, Golden Dragon. We've definitely seen this guy grief on the Wyvern before. Grief his team. So you have to be very careful about the swap, right? But you know, if you can at least have the discipline to not use it unless it's called out, if you've got a problem with it, or if you can just simply, you know, get to the point with it where that's not ever happening, then yeah, I think this is a very good hero to pick up right now if you're a support player, and it will let them have it for the swap off. It's hard to make anything out of this, out of either of these comps. I really don't. I don't think anybody has got like a. I don't think this is an unwinnable or unlosable comp for either of these teams. It looks like a really good Wraith King game. The problem is that's like you have a.
Peaches AFK. What?
No, Peaches was hitting Tombstone.
Peaches, yeah. Also sponsored by.
You're really
Empire.
good into. You're really good into Undying.
Does anyone know the Empire Today like phone number off the top of the head?
Never heard of it.
It's like an old commercial. I used to know it.
Oh, is it 281-330-8004?
Oh my god.
I don't
How do
think
you know
so,
that?
but it might be. Oh, Dragon gonna go.
You said it way too
That's a
confidently.
Texas thing. You should know.
Said it way too confidently.
That's true, you did. All I know is at the end of the commercial, they're like, Empire Today!
LC doing
Oh,
quite
that's
well in the
fine.
last hit category. Granted, like a third of them are neutral creeps, but still doing quite well compared to Medusa.
It's true. Wraith King so far not been having the easiest go of things here in the lane, which isn't surprising. I mean, I said it in the last game. You were talking about the Undying swap, and I mentioned then that Undying as 3 is usually, you know, just kind of a second 4, basically, which is what they're doing at high levels. You either get like a second 4 as your pause 3, or you get like a second 1 as your pause 3. It's kind of a second 4, more of a jumped up support. And you're going to trade some scaling, you're going to trade some late game advantage in the Undying here, but what you're going to get for it is you're going to get, at least, ideally, optimally, if the execution isn't coming off badly, you're going to get a very easy lane phase, and so far, looks very much like it. He's going to win, Golden Dragon's going to win this one, he got the revenge kill. Average Pink got the regen rune here. What an awkward time. Everybody, the whole party
Is under attack.
has shown up here for poor DP. Look, somebody 588-2300. I think that's it. I think Lerno's got it.
Wait a second. Did you say that the average peen went for the DP?
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
Oh no, I should know who Lerno is without looking at it. That's La, I think. That's La. I think.
Having Law and Luth in the same game.
Yeah, that's
Can't deal with
awesome.
it.
We had that a few times last season.
I thought they were the same person, I'll be honest.
Well,
That's racist.
La is not on Lifestealer, so he's basically not in the game, you know?
Damn. Biggest. That's the biggest flame in the world from the guy who went to semifinals left. As Leaf picks up a double kill here, this lane is
Radiant's bottom
going
tower
real
is
bad
under
for that
attack.
Wraith King. I was talking
Dire's
earlier
middle tower
about
is under attack.
the big advantage conferred by having this sort of support, double support lane here, and thus far it's absolutely happening.
Radiant are scanning.
Yeah, Undying. 45 last hits to Wraith King's 20. God dang.
What is this?
Another
What is this pop-out thing?
Jakiro death? Got to give him that last
Okay.
hit to the
Dire's
the
turret
core.
has been killed.
Come on, Leaf.
What do you
Gotten
mean?
better.
Hold on, we gotta take a look at this nonsense happening up top. So starts off with a kill on Gold Dragon, then you get just runs him over, then you get the kill on the courier here. Average Pain TP's in, good rotation there from Average Pain. Is going to knock down Heroin here.
But as a result, you're taking a lot of damage on the mid tower. Basically
Yep.
dead.
Dire's structures
Is
But
that
then
worth
on the
the
other
TP to
hand,
kill?
you do have the DP here. You can pretty much assume this thing's going to go down pretty quick. And actually, because of the glyph, they use the glyph to keep it up. Was not able to knock it out with the first Exo.
Which is a win.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, for the
That was,
Radiance.
that was a big woof. Am I right?
No.
from Doggo?
No. You're wrong. I'm sorry. Carp's uninstalling Discord again.
I didn't even hear what he said.
He said that's a big
Radiant's
woof
middle
from
tower is
Doggo.
under attack.
Am I right?
Oh yeah, that's a great joke. I love it.
No, you
I'll
don't.
support it.
You don't have to lie.
My text in my pharmacy, they say I'm banned from saying dad jokes, so I have to support the dad joke.
That's like not even a dad joke. That's sub dad joke level. Get a big kill here on the DP, but bit of confusion to follow. It looked bad for a second, but they split that well. Leaf, Peen, and Golden Dragon split their exit from that fight very well, and the only thing they lost for it was a pause 5 ES, which it's not really that big of a deal. Pretty much are already out of lane phase at this point. You can see DK's actually on top here. It's kind of interesting. Okay, may not be for long though. They are really hitting him hard here. He does have a full wand and he has the Elder Dragon form up, so he's not going to be that easy to kill. Never mind. Talked
And
before
it's
about Average Peen is a small pool man, right? You know, this guy has two like really awesome heroes and a whole bunch of guys that I'm not really scared of if I see in a game. But like this DK, I don't know, he's like, this has not been like an easy mid for him and he's doing pretty well on it. So this could definitely be a good hero to try and run on a consistent
I would say that
basis. This is our
his
first
pool is
one.
pretty average, you know?
Oof.
Exo use.
Gyro will just complete whip. Kind of an unfortunate situation, almost an unfortunate situation. Maybe it's not as bad as it looks. DK coming in for a second bite, gets the job done. DP trades their life for the pause 5 once again. Golden Dragon, you're gonna take another spill here, but who cares? You traded your pause 5 for their mid, which means does need to be a little careful here. There's a lot of magic there. He is
Yeah,
definitely.
that gyro really needs to leave and go back to base.
He really needs to leave, yeah. I like his sponsor, though. I think I mentioned this before, but I really like how the sponsors just help!
Last couple fights, it seems like it's fitting. Walking away with like a
Radiant's
sliver of
middle
health.
tower is
Yeah.
under attack.
The heroine. Kind of low here. If okay, I was gonna say, Luth actually gets a really good snake on her. That's actually potentially a kill.
He's in
Now
die
it's
for it.
actually kill on Luth. He doesn't have enough mana right now. He needs the first duel. He's dead. That's a very quick duel win.
I told you, dragons are OP.
But he's not even playing as a dragon. He's playing as a Skywrath.
Radiant's
Yeah, but it's in
middle
his
tower
name, you
is
know?
There are
under
two
attack.
dragon. Pages is playing as a dragon. Look. But this guy ain't playing.
Dragons
as no
are
dragon.
OP.
That doesn't actually count because there's two of them, so they like it's like a double negative. You guys cancel each other
It's a
out.
double negative.
Dire's top tower
Isn't that a
is under
positive?
attack.
Yeah, that
Doesn't
would be
he multiply
like
negative by negative?
It would be
It's
a
just that.
double positive, which would imply a negative, I guess. Is really what it would be.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
They have Dragon Knight. That's true. There are many dragons in this game, and Whimsical is not one of them.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Doesn't even have a Dragon Lance. DK's finished that
Dire's
Mage
top
Slayer.
tower is under attack.
I would like to
Radiant's
see.
bottom tower
I
is
hate
under
to beat this to death. I even mentioned it already today. Casual Cloak on the Mage Slayer coming out a little bit earlier probably saves this guy a lot of heartache and a lot of pain. Well, not heartache, because he didn't die, but a lot of pain earlier in lane phase. Little dragon breaks the smoke here. Finds heroine. Heroine just annihilates his ass instantly. Going deep under the tower here with the XO. They do not have the tombstone. Okay, they used it over here. Didn't actually get anything done.
And the Radiant's still pretty full health. This
Radiant's
like a
still pretty
tower
full of
that's-
health, but they're kind of out of mana. All places. They've already used most of the XO. More reinforcements are coming for the Dire. The Radiant's actually having to back off here. It's kind of interesting.
honestly good hold.
Yeah. They're
XO
looking for a
used for
turnaround
just
here. They
a
get a swap.
+5.
This is a really good swap. This is the guy who's been
Ooh,
really having
good
most
Jakiro.
success, but the Jakiro coming in here. No, DK not only stood the Macropire, but he beat himself to death on the Blade Mail. Oh no, Average Beam. It's going so well till he did
Dire
that.
structures are fortified.
Alright, it turns out maybe not all dragons are OP.
Radiant's middle tower is under
It's
attack.
true. Well, nothing's OP if you do that.
Is under attack.
Another free duel win for the Elsa.
I was gonna say this was going so well for the Dire, and then
Yeah.
Lou just shows up to take the tower. When
That's
next
Law.
we
Yeah.
have skeletons.
Good old Lou.
Law.
L-
I
Radiant's
Lou.
bottom tower is under attack.
I don't. If I say it that way, then I can't get it wrong.
Did you like how I body blocked the bench for the duel? I didn't want to bring it up because it was very mean. It was very unkind. If you were nicer, you would have more friends, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, 3 hero in the microplay. One of the heroes just stands there. That's a really crazy thing. I don't think DK dies if he doesn't both stand in the Macropire and beat up a Blade Mail. That's crazy talk.
He's beating up the Blade Mail again.
Gonna get him this time.
Was it though?
Turns out it's a lot easier to kill people when you only half your shots go off the Blade Mail and you don't bathe in the Macropire. I mean, that was very ballsy in all the wrong ways for Average Being, going right for Blink BKB this game. Do I agree with that? I'd like to see one more damage item, but I don't think it's unfeasible. I don't think it's like untenable. This is going to be his biggest factor. I mean, that's what you're really worried about as DK. That's what it's always been. It's about the magic damage. Like, this guy has a bunch of armor, a bunch of regen, and if you throw magic damage at him, life is bad. He's not gonna worry that much about the DP. He can basically live EXO with his Elder Dragon form, which is a huge luxury that just not many heroes have, right? So that's that, and that's great. The Macropire is going to be hell for him. If he gets dual ulted by the Skywrath Mage, that's going to be hell for him. Like, the duel's not going to do that much damage to him, the Blade Mail might, but that Skywrath Mage ult is going to do a lot to the poor guy. Especially if he gets to amp it with the Ancient Seal, so...
Speaking of the Skywrath, can we look at the Dire supports really quick? I want to see their quick buy.
Sure. VS has queued
That's
up
wolf.
bongo boots.
Not
early
the eggs,
bongo
interesting.
boots, yeah.
From my understanding, whatever pause
Fine.
you play Venge, you just rush the eggs.
Fang's got the play male agent ties here. I believe that's true.
What I was
Tricopter
looking
going
for
the
is
vessel.
the. Yeah, I was looking for the force staff, but
The Force Staff. I think you need the Glimmer Cape this game more. Definitely would like to see. Between the Skywrath and the Jakiro, and the magic damage you get from the overwhelming odds, the Wraith King Q, the DP Bats, the
Radiant's middle tower is under
Glimmer
attack.
Cape here is super awesome. I think better than Force Staff.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
yeah, it's true. I guess the Legion and Skywrath aren't really like soloing; they're team fighting. So
Yeah.
Radiant's
force staff
middle
won't really
tower
save
is
anybody completely.
Of course,
It's a
really
good
nothing
dad.
wrong with the Force Staff. Good fly on dying, just 100 to 0.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Be kind of a bad spot. It's going to turn around a lot of that with her heal. Leaf is kind of a man
That was a
alone
good,
here. It's going to survive the fight.
Support
Actually
LC.
pulling Luke to drop the ult here to turn the Radiant around. This is actually going to get him a kill on the turnaround here, which is nice. It's 3v4. And the Radiant still has a vision advantage here, but this fight is over. Good interdiction there by Luth, who's able to turn this around. Bad game for Ransoms so far, I will say that much. If you notice, when you asked what the Radiant supports, or what the Dire supports were building, I actually instinctively clicked on the Undying. Partially because, you know, that's just traditionally how he's been playing the LD2 historically, and partially because of this. He's just like on...
Dire's
He
bottom
is
tower
below
is
the
under
enemy
attack.
pause 4 right now. He is not having a good one. He had such a good lane phase. It's kind of the issue of this hero is that to make this hero mean something, you have to have more than a good lane. He did that good early game too, and he hasn't really been having that.
I think he also missed that spell.
At least he was there to see that happen. Get a little bit of money at least, yep.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Oh.
Excuse me,
uh-oh.
Mr. Luth. You stuck around an area you knew enemies were recently without health and mana?
Dire's bottom tower is
Another
Yeah,
good one for
decent amount of mana though.
Did he? Did he really? Let's
He had
see.
like 800, 900, I thought.
It's 700.
Oh, 700.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And he might have less by the time this actually starts. No. Yeah, when the duel really starts, he has about 600 mana left, and that just immediately leaks off of him.
Melted.
Yep.
Force staff would have saved him there.
The 3 and true.
Dire's bottom
If
tower
only,
is
if
under
only he had a
attack.
support with a force staff who was like there.
Within 800, like 1,000.
My global force staff.
How busted would that be?
Another club is killing people this game. This is Heroin has had kind of a low-key season. I think he's had more games that look like the one Ransoms is having right now than this, that's for sure. This is a big game for him. It feels like this combination is doing a lot of work for him. It certainly doesn't, like, the smart money in this match was probably 2-0 Ransoms, right? Like, that's where the smart money was probably at. Steam, especially missing Blue Jay like they are, right? But definitely feels like a very good run of things right now, though the Ransom team did just get a double kill on this poor Wraith King, so there is that. The DK is still at the top of the charts. And it is definitely, the game is definitely not over, but the momentum definitely feels like it's in Radiant's hands right now. And if this game just keeps going and LC keeps getting more duel wins, not good. Smoke gank here, they found the Jakiro, Jakiro's gonna tank it. Everybody else in Radiant is, I hope, gonna leave.
Would like
It's
to
like
see
they had to think
maybe
about it a
different.
little bit, but they did eventually decide to do it.
Would like to see a different swap, because
Yeah.
I think you killed the Jakiro either way, but I think you could potentially get a DP.
Potentially, but they didn't have the vision they would need to do that there.
Is under attack.
As far as Golden Dragon knew, the DP was already gone, and he either gets the Jakiro or gets nothing, right?
Tier 2 tower is quite low.
Yeah.
for
They're gonna mount a
they are
defensive effort
defending.
here.
Oh, blanket
But-
reveal.
Now this is smart. They're gonna pull out here. They don't actually want to take this fight. They're just gonna chip out it.
Good play, good play. And he had both pause one, or no, that's DK mid. He's farming.
This tower does not grow back, right? So,
No.
I mean, that was a rhetorical question for the record. You didn't answer that like I was legitimately asking, but tower does not grow back, so getting a good chunk of damage off of it, very good thing. It looks like they're gonna try and do Tormentor here. Radiant seems to
Bring
be
back
caught,
repair
by the way.
kit.
Dire's top
True.
tower is under attack.
Train protector
Dragon looking
and
pretty low.
repair kit.
Gonna
Dire's
live.
courier has been killed.
Gonna live and
Gets
gets
rewarded
the,
for the.
and is getting Glimmer Cape, which I like to see, though I would definitely like to see that egg soon.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Ooh,
Dire
Oh,
are
no.
scanning.
100% disc usage, not now. Oh, speaking of not now, good swap! Good swap is gonna at least save the DK from losing the duel, but still probably doesn't feel very good. Did not anticipate that the Radiant were there and ready to strike at that moment. Just caught him completely unawares. Ooh, the Gyrocopter is gonna barely get out. What are they gonna see him? Nope.
Turns out Swap is just a better version of Fortstaff.
True.
But as the results go, maybe Glimmer Cape is the better idea.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't win that with Glimmer Cape anyway, because he's gonna keep breaking the invis when he auto-attacks, but... yeah. Didn't have any way to stop TP. That's very sad. Interesting for the Radiant to be pushing this. I definitely don't... I mean, they have Exo, but they've lost fights around these towers with Exo, right? It is spooky. They're not gonna lose a fight if that happens, so they just instantly find to get rid of the... instantly find to get... Okay, they're gonna lose... This happens! Dagos solo! They're gonna slap him under tower, that's very good, but nobody saw it coming! Nobody was ready for it! Lutha's dead! Lutha is really behind. That's so unfortunate. They had that DP so low, couldn't actually get the job done. What's going under the tower here? Stopped here. Undying is using his second life to try and at least buy this tower some time. He killed the DP. Very nice. But that wasn't worth losing the DK though. That was a crazy place for him to be in that fight.
Dire's top tower is
1 for 3.
under
The
attack.
DP's a really big kill, but actually 1 for 4.
Dire's bottom
it's a really
tower
big
is
kill,
under
but-
attack.
Definitely doesn't feel worth it at that rate. That's about a 3k gold swing. 9k advantage for the Radiant. And Medusa is behind on the charts. It's not really all that far behind where you would ideally be as Medusa. This team's been on the back foot most of the game. Most of their advantage has been taken away as Medusa can't really capitalize on and fights she can't really be in. Very dangerous for her to be in fights. The Radiant can definitely lose a fight and pick Dusa with that that dual plus Skywrath ult plus Macropire combo, right? So really, Dusa is, like, not that behind. A little bit. Not that behind. The problem is that the Radiant have just balled so crazy. They just, you know, this is such a bloody game. 25 kills, 24 minutes, just for them, right? That the Medusa looks way more behind than she really feasibly is.
Dire are
Should be further ahead than this ideally, but should have had that awful kill, that awful death rather, that she just kind of randomly dropped in the middle of the jungle, and I feel like that probably set her back. The fight she's had to like pop into when she really probably didn't want to, probably set her back. Hasn't gotten much from the fights, which is really sad. Like, these are fights that would absolutely be disastrous, like 0 for 4 fights if he didn't show up, but like they get is like a support in the Radiant to run away, which isn't what you want to have happen on Medusa. BKB coming out very soon on the Wraith King on the other side of the coin. Ags is out on the LC, wants longer duels. Which, I guess at this point, why not?
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
See, Undying's still struggling to get above the Skywrath Mage for net worth, and this is not going to help. Bye-bye. And once again, the Undying immediately goes down. Once again, Dogger just hits the funny little button and goes at the T2. Though, notably, Average Fiend did actually come south here and blow up the bot T2 that Radiant has as well. So there is something of a trade for it, even if not ideal. Like this inventory full of junk for Golden Dragon. Yeah, that's true. It's been a very sad Undying game. It's just everything you do, like the risk you accept running when you pick this hero, but like everything went wrong. You had an awesome lane, which did not translate into an awesome early game, and now you really pretty much are a third support, right? Like not even a jumped up one. You're not even really doing better than the Radiant supports.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
You picked a hero like this to go hard early game, and you went soft early game, right? Like, okay, I don't think this should have happened. Surely, if you're getting the Aegis on anybody, I mean, I guess DP doesn't make that much sense because she's just kind of an old and done hero. I guess this is just a bad Aegis team in general, but I would have at least preferred to see it on the Death Prophet because she's the only one of the core trio that's like dying on a regular basis. They're never getting the LC or the Wraith King in these fights, it feels like. DK queuing up the old Ags. I hear dual noises, it's Golden Dragon at the very least. They found Luth over here. Luth is gonna know what's good for him and just skip down. He's got the butterfly if he wants it at the very least. There's that. He doesn't want it though for some reason. Yeah, it's Wraith King going high ground here. In fact, it's not the worst high ground game in the world, but it's a pretty bad high ground game. Your Wraith King isn't that great going uphill. Your LC isn't that great going uphill. You have the VS Vomit that can clear waves. You have the Medusa Snake that's going to clear waves. Dragon Breath, you're going to have the Gyrocopter can ult them if he wants to.
Dire's bottom tower
A lot of forms of wave clear. So they could at least hypothetically set up a defensive situation uphill. Try to force a good fight for them. Turn it around.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Oh, that's why Tiki isn't saying
Dire's
anything. He's
bottom
not
tower
here.
has fallen.
Do Samantha and Snakes to defend high ground
Radiant's
slowly.
top tower
Also
is
true.
under attack.
Very
Dire's
powerful
bottom
uphill
tower
defenders.
is under attack.
Just gonna go straight up here. I really was not ready for this. They were not expecting the Radiant to just walk at the buildings here. Radiant needs to be a little careful.
Radiant's top
They
tower
swapped
is
the
under
Wraith
attack.
King in. That's really not who they wanted, and nobody on the Dire even goes for them here. Interestingly, Gyrocopter trying to go on the flank. The backline sees a Wraith King very low on his first life. Luke is up in front here. He's got his butterfly. They see Leaf. They're gonna try and run at him. Wraith King better be careful. He has 100 HP. Jera's gonna try and use smoke. It's gonna get instantly cleared. And bombs. So that's the reincarnate life gone from Wraith King. Mutual BKB here. The DP fighting the DK. The Medusa ult is going to intervene here. It's going to make things pretty bad for them. The LC duel is going to come out. Going to get swapped out. They're going to actually take out the DP. Second life goes up for Wraith King. It was necessary to win this duel. It feels kind of bad. They finally got a kill on the the LC here. It looks kind of bad for the Wraith King. He's going to try and TP out. He doesn't make it. They don't have the swap up to actually get rid of that. Well, that was quite a turnaround at the end of the day. You have 4 for 2 there. It's less money changed hands because of the gyro buyback that doesn't factor into the gold change, but 4 for 2, very good. Bunch of kills on that Wraith King in particular. Even if they didn't get the last one on him, I'm guessing they probably feel pretty good after being on the back foot this whole game and getting that. Yep, Aegis and ult. They almost got him a third time. I mean, that's a pretty good omen, it feels like. And they're going to walk into Pages here. Never mind, Pages is going to get the heebie-jeebies turn around. Undying is finally going to finish this Lotus Orb. It feels like he's been working on this entire life, and that's going to finally propel him in front of the Skywrath Mage. So, Ransoms finally hitting that 6th place, baby. He's kind of fallen off, but he will have his Ags quite soon. 1,500 gold separates him from that. Now that has propelled Medusa up to the top of the net worth charts. Yep, it is a very substantial power spike on the DK Ags, and it's a very substantial power spike to see this person go from nowhere to the top of the charts. Well, they're gonna... Oh, no, nobody's here for him. Tell me you got Shard on Ransoms. You don't. At least they got the swamp, but she's still dead. Oh no, that was kind of griefing on Loose part. I guess he assumed he had the team behind him, and the team was not having it. Everybody walked on. So that's awful. Goodbye, momentum. Cannot be doing that. That's understandable because Luth is relatively new to this team, right? Has not been here long, but like that is untenable. When your Waz1 walks up this tower like this, you gotta be behind him. You cannot let him do that all himself, which is what this team unfortunately did. Like, even if that's the wrong call, even if you're doing that while screaming Luth get back, somebody has to be watching for that, right? Like, this is a Medusa in a game that looks like this. You cannot let that happen, frankly. And when it happened, look what Radiant immediately did. Just immediately walked up to the tower here. But they're going pretty deep here. They're about to lose Heroine, maybe? He's so low, 100 HP. Separates him from the grave, and the DK is going to overextend trying to get him and go down. Is that the ball game here? They're going to kill the whole base now?
Definitely at least one winner.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a calm fiasco. And look how bad he got punished. Rightfully for it. And very good eye on the Radiant. Very good initiative shown there. The second they see that misplay being played. It's an example of something I often talk about on the cast, which is like, you know, throws happen, right? And just because a throw happens doesn't mean the other guys just blundered into it and didn't deserve the win. Sad. Just because that happens doesn't mean he blundered into it and doesn't deserve the win, right? I mean, they had very good vision here. They saw the Medusa out of place. They immediately killed the Medusa, right? You know, I guess I just hoping, I suppose, there. Just hoping for the best, but they did get the best. Just immediately dropped the ball on the Medusa, dropped the wrecking ball on her. And the second she fell down, everybody ran to the mid T3 like their pants were on fire to get these lands, right? So, you know, like I said, that's exactly what you want to do. That's exactly what you want to see in a situation like that. Hero watches the LC fall down on the turnaround play here. Just sticks around in enemy territory too long in the LC. Jakiro tries to bail her out. Jakiro does not live. Game is not over, for the record. I mean, you know, there are some games where losing 2 sets of racks is like GG already. This is not really one of them. Got the Shiva's Guard up here on the DP. Going for SNK next. Feels like a very late SNK, frankly. Smoke is out. They got over half of it left. Looking for the DP here. DP is skipping town, though. Yeah, they're looking the wrong places for her. They're looking in the GG jungle. Now they're looking in the different incorrect jungle. Here comes the Skeleton Brigade.
Just waddling down.
Yep. Yeah, this is definitely not one of those games where it's over with those racks. The Medusa can definitely, as I'm gonna say, they have the DK. And
Dire's middle tower.
the LC has a whole lot of dual damage, but it's starting to slow down notably, right? She's not gonna be an atom bomb at the end of the game. She's gonna be pretty strong. She's not gonna be quite to the power of like a DK. And even though they do have the Undying, that would be hypothetically weighing them down, they have a gyrocopter here on the support line, and, you know, if this game goes long enough, this guy is going to start scaling, right? Like, that is going to be something. So if this game goes forever, it is, I think, certainly going to be favoring the Dire. Unless a lot more duels come out. Immediate D-ward of what the Dire support line's putting down.
Dire are scanning.
Looking at a Pipe of Insight on the Undying, I think that's a good idea this game. There's just so much magic damage they have to deal with, and that's such a pain in the ass for the DK in particular. Getting that will help them a lot, and it will also help some of the jump scare duels help mitigate that. Radiant's gonna get DD here, everyone's gonna crowd around it. They're ultimately going to give it to the DP as a
Dire
bottle.
are scanning.
Scotty out on the Deuce. No Ags in sight, but the Scotty's out. Roche has
Feels like a big timing for Dire. I don't know if you can contest it though. Like this might be, especially when you're walking the 3-minute ice path.
Yeah. Dusa does not care. She is going to walk in, hit ult, and get nobody. Wraith King's going to take the Aegis, but Medusa's already pretty much out of mana. DK is in deep with the BKB, but he is melting in there. He's going to just try and knock out the support line. He's not even going to get that.
Dolico's out.
Going to get the... No, they're not going to get the... Oh no, they're not even going to get the LC, but they're going to lose the Dusa on this play.
Dire wins the war for or Radiant wins the war of attrition.
I think in a game that looks like this, you really want the Ags on the Dusa. Being able to curtail the Wraith King lifesteal, being able to curtail the LC region, being able to slow down so many people is pretty good. Oh my god, they got the kill on the gyrocopter with the reflected missile.
Dire's
Awesome.
tower is under attack.
Wow, that
Leaf,
sucks.
what are you doing, buddy?
Did somebody clip that?
Structures are fortified.
Call GG right after that. Like, there's no coming back from that one.
I mean, I can assure you that the person who, I can assure you that the person who did that is probably not going to see the clip, but I feel like it would be good for it to be
Dire's top barracks
We
have
forgot.
fallen. The Radiant now have mega creeps.
It's not out of Megas. It's not strictly over for the Dire, but it feels awful.
It's
Go for the
over.
Shard for Deuce instead of the Axe. It's not strictly over. It feels really bad though. It's not looking good. Hell yeah.
Thank you, Whimsical.
That's what we like to see. That's why you're getting the All-Star vote endorsement again this year. Now see, Ags is good unless you're saying it, Renee, in which case it sucks. That's the important thing. It's like me with Kid Dynamite. Like, anything I like, it sucks when Kid Dynamite doesn't. Another clip of the same thing. Awesome! That's gonna happen sometimes. Everyone fight about which version of that clip you think is better. Maybe post an LD2 clips? Okay, good swap out! Actually, that Radavato's kind of griefed this duel. Luth won the duel! Very nice.
30 damage.
Yeah, baby.
Get the
35. Thank you very much.
The other 5 damage doesn't matter. The 30 does. 5 doesn't. DK
I think you're just
shredding.
losing so much not having the Scotty on everybody on the new set. It looks like this. I don't think that the crits are very secondary in my judgment on that. Yeah, goodbye, Luke. Once again, at least he won that duel. At least he got to have a funny before he went down. Wraith King!
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Oh hell yeah! Oh no, it would have been a double reflect.
Middle tower has fallen.
And the new guy calls the G's. Ancient blows up. Victory for the Knights who say GG. And that's a decent upset, I think, for them. Especially again, missing their key player, missing Blue Jay. It was definitely a win to feel good about. You know, this is a team that seems to be on the upswing, the team that still has the highest average MMR of like a team in a while, actually. Definitely heavy favorites, and they ended up doing the job here. There was definitely some throwing. It definitely does feel like they have a new pause 1 on Dungeons and Dagons, which is true. It definitely does feel like that, though. It did feel like Luth kind of played this game very out of step compared to the rest of the team. And the comms have to shape up to fit with that for at least the next couple of weeks, right? Like, at least until, like, semis. The comms have to get... You know, I always say, I actually said it to the Heroine team at the start of the season, right? It's like, sometimes you have to make those calls that you feel like an asshole saying the obvious whenever you make them, but on like in a situation where you have a game that looks like that, it would be like crucial. There are so many times like you know, Luth is in danger, everybody's off the map and doesn't really realize it and just explodes in the jungle. He goes to that T1 at top and just dies, right? Like, neither of those situations was he like. Yeah, I mean, he made a mistake, but it wasn't like an unforgivable misplay. This isn't something that a Pazwan should just be born knowing. He plays on teams where the momentum that they play the game around is different than this one on a pretty regular basis, right? You know, he plays a different Dota game than this on a pretty regular basis. So sometimes you want to say, hey, you know, they're all gone. Maybe get back on Dusa. Hey, you know, we're not with you. Make those very simple calls like that. Could change a lot of realities. Sad Deuce game. Yep, it kind of was. The Pos 3 in lane, even though in the long term that worked horribly for Ransoms, in a strategic sense it worked great for his team, even though he got no benefit from it, the Deuce just always felt on the back foot, so that was good. If the team around him was able to fight, even if he himself... really, what? Wait. I'm going the other way, I'm an idiot. Never mind. The Dusa had the bad lane with the LC with the Skarath mage. My brain totally fell out of my head there. Just ignore everything I said in the last like 3 minutes. Anyway, yeah, rough lane against the LC against the Skarath mage. Like the lack of momentum in the bot lane stopped them from being able to have those fights early, right? Like, made it so that Medusa had to come out awkwardly frequently. Just felt awful. It felt like a bad experience. Felt like Wraith King recovered very well. The Medusa really didn't. It felt like the Dire were very good at keeping the thumb down on her. Had a better team to do that, frankly. Had a better team to keep the thumb down on Dusa than the Dire had a team to keep the thumbs down on the... Man, you guys are really getting into the weeds on this single item that the Medusa didn't even build. But the end of the day, yeah, just felt really bad for the Medusa. Just didn't end up being able to play the game that Medusa wants to play. I think that's the key issue with it. Did not end up being able to play that game. The Undying came out a little bit awkward. The DK started out great. There were just a few blunders unfortunately made. Radiant did a very good job capitalizing on it. Again, it felt like Radiant just snapped it right when they saw that the Dire showing a little weakness, Raiden just snapped it. Very quick reaction on the Jakiro, very quick reaction with the Skywrath, very quick reaction move time on the Legion Commander. Looked very good for those guys, so see what happens next game. Well, actually, before we get out, you guys anything to say about it?
No,
Just glad.
so I got something to say about after after the record stops. You know.
Hell yeah, I got added by a bot in a public Discord server. That's to drop me a link to hell. Okay. Well, we'll see what happens next time.